Good evening, everyone. So it's all over the media. There is so much footage and different reports about it now. It seems an inevitability. So, guys, looks like North Korean troops will be entering Ukraine in a combatant role, if that's a word. Guys, I just want to right now. I just want to tell you, just reiterate a couple of the things I've said in the last couple of weeks from my sources on the ground in Ukraine. A couple of weeks ago, before any of this, before any of this news of North Korean troops on the ground, I did a video and I said, listen, guys, I said from the people I'm speaking to in Ukraine, they're looking at a multi-pronged attack from the Russians at some point in the next couple of weeks. Now, they were saying this because they're seeing a buildup of logistics, a buildup of supplies, a buildup in munitions, and they've also seen a cooling off on the front line. So that would say that the Russians are preparing, they're getting ready for a big attack over multiple fronts. Now, I said this like weeks ago, and then a couple of weeks after that, there were some rumors about these North Korean troops. Are there North Korean troops ready to deploy in Ukraine? Is it hearsay? What are we talking about? Are they doing some sort of exercise? And right now, guys, there's too much information about North Korean troops now out there. It looks pretty much inevitable that this thing's going to happen. So I'll put some links in the description below. But guys, the Ukrainian front line, as it is at the moment, it's in tatters, and the Ukrainians really are struggling to hold that front line. If there's a big push from several directions, several lines of advance, I've said many times, I don't feel the Ukrainians have anything to hold it. Not only that, there's no fallback positions. There's no, I know that part of the world, and there isn't any natural features you can hide behind. So when you're planning military strategies, you always use features. So you'll use a hill, you'll use a river, you'll use a valley, something that's there naturally. It's either defendable, you've got good overwatch. That part of the world, guys, from the front line now all the way to Kiev, it's pretty much flat farmland. The only thing really, the only realistic natural stop point is the River Dnipro, which bisects the country in half. So we run a risk right now, potentially before the US election, of Russia getting all the way up to the Dnipro. Now, I'm going on public record now, and I'm saying that's because I understand the situation. So let's just go to the map quickly, and I'll show you where we've been for the last couple of weeks. So this is the war map here, guys. This is obviously Ukraine, the River Dnipro. This is the River Dnipro here. It runs down, literally bisects the country in half. And look what I was saying. So these rivers, they form natural defensive lines. So it's very hard to cross the river. Equally, it's very hard to, retake that ground once it's lost, because you're having to cross a river. It's really difficult. Now, this bit here doesn't really do it justice. The River Dnipro is really, really wide. Obviously, some parts are wider than others here by Kremenchuk. Kremenchuk, incidentally, has the world's biggest, Xeon, is it Xeon gas? Kremenchuk, I think, has the world's biggest Xeon gas facility, which is used in laser production. Anyway, sorry, slightly off topic. So the front line here, where we're talking about the main line of advance here, Pokrovsk. Now, I've said this town of Pokrovsk, it's a key location. There's two railroads coming in, north and south. There's two main supplying routes going out, obviously north and south. If this town falls, there really isn't much by the way of defense. I mean, look, guys, there's literally nothing there all the way to the Dnipro. And once you can manage to exploit up to Dnipro, you've got you will take control of a lot of factories, a lot of industrial facilities. There's a company here called that makes rockets, that makes I think they do S-300 rockets. So there's a lot of manufacturing capacity here. manufacturing capacity all over here. And then you go further up, obviously you've got Kremenchuk. And then further up, if they can manage to get to the Dnipro, then it's just going to be a slow oozing battle all the way up the west side, east side of the Dnipro. And I think this is where they're going to want to draw the new, the new border right there, because the river runs right through Kiev. Guys, it's absolute wild times at the moment. The farmland here, there's literally nothing there to stop the Russians if they push now. And if they manage to break through these front lines that are holding them, Kramatorsk, Pokrovs, where else have we got? We've got Mykolaiv down here. Hang on, is it Kherson? Yeah, Kherson. If they manage to get through these front lines, then there really isn't much to stop them because of the land. It's just flat land all the way to Kiev. So what we see now is these North Korean troops. There's some people are saying 10,000. I've heard 12,000. A lot. Let's not forget that nothing happens in North Korea without China's say so. China is in control of North Korea. China have also come out and they've said to their guys, listen, you guys need to start up your training, prepare for war. And all this time we've got people talking about peace and, the fighting's dying down and it's looking like, Zelensky's road for victory or whatever they're calling it. Guys, right, just consider this. If those 10,000 troops or 12,000 troops, as some people are saying, if those troops are not meant to be used, why are they there? We've seen images of them being issued kit and equipment. We've seen images, online of them training. And again, I don't know how much credibility these images have got. I don't know how much credibility the videos have got. What I will say is these are being passed around like, a box of Smarties at a kid's party. So it's pretty much a given that these things are happening. I've spoken to my friends in Ukraine. They've said, yeah, we're expecting a push. Now, remember what I said about the big Russian push from multiple lines of access? This is all feeding into that same narrative now. It's looking like the North Koreans are going to be advancing, which also means that the Chinese are going to be, have some involvement in this. Guys, World War III, it's already here, and I don't know when somebody's going to stand up and just look around and say, do you know what, guys, this is actually here now. We are in World War III. Even when this, I think it's inevitable now. This big push comes with the North Koreans. I don't think it'll be cold. Even if, think about that. You've got now North Korea actively involved with the war. You've got China saying to prepare for war. You've got the United States Air Force striking Iranian-backed targets in the Middle East. You've got Israel they're having a war with everyone. You've got the threat alert states getting raised in the United Kingdom. You've got by threat alert states, I mean the MI5 chief coming out, the ex-MI6 boss saying, that with these attacks in the Middle East, it's likely to raise the terror attack. I'm not sure if the attacks, the threat state, the terror alert states being risen officially yet. I think they're going to try and keep that played down because once you lift that, obviously that has detrimental effects to your security. Guys, honestly, I don't think we're going to get to the end of this month without this huge escalation, And how many more countries have to get involved in these wars before people just say, yeah, literally all countries are in a war? Remember, in the Second World War, not every country, contrary to what some people believe, in the Second World War, not every country was actively involved in combat. There were lots of countries who just sat out. Now, North Korea is looking like it's getting involved. This is just absolutely wild. Can you imagine a year ago? Can you imagine a year ago if I said, right, okay, guys, listen, we're going to have a situation where Russia has been invaded, they've had their ground taken, and the Ukrainians are holding it. The North Koreans have signed a military pact with Russia, and the North Koreans are reinforcing the Russian positions in the east. This is just going to give more weight to NATO, whatever's left of NATO. You know, if you've been watching my channels, you know, I've said the United Kingdom's going to lead what's left of NATO in the east of Ukraine. If these North Korean troops do enter Ukraine on a combative role, that's going to give more weight for French, German, British, you know, whoever, to then push into Ukraine. Guys, this thing's happening. It's going to happen. They've already got a name for it. They've already got funding for it. They've already got people involved with that. You know, they've probably got training areas. They've probably got housing facilities, hotels, barracks, all that sort of stuff planned. Guys, this is happening. It's happening in real time. And right now, it is literally the calm before the storm. You wouldn't think so, though, if you lived in my house, because we are getting we are getting beaten by the storm at the moment. But anyway, guys, I'm going to back to grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.